What is up, y'all? It's your boy Aniki coming at you with another live stream today, eating breakfast of ramen and tea. My Hero Academia, chapter 327. Switch things up a little. Going to have the bishops joining a little bit after. I know sometimes as I'm reading the chapter, we kind of get these delays. So I kind of wanted to switch it up a little, be considerate of you guys, and have me actually read through the chapter first before we have those classic cutoffs start popping off. So welcome on, welcome on, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. It's church day. Sorry about no stream last week, but we back. And that's what's important. Let the church know. Let the people know. We live. All right. Let's see. How y'all been? How y'all been? All right. Yep. Ooh. We rolling through. Good to see. Good to see. Missed y'all. Y'all, and some of you remember it's been a little rough lately. All the same, Seth 3, I appreciate you being here. Hey, my boy Thomas. Solo me, Tanisha Greer. You done just became one of the true blue reliables. Adam D. Blurred's bag. My boy Joseph Ciola. Love to see it. Bishop Tarnish in the chat. Hey, you know what? See, I love this. You know what? The introduction last chapter for JJK, top notch. I'm actually really excited to start the color game. Really, almost everything that I read right now is in a really good spot. So enjoying that. Let's see. You know what? Since we're doing it different, I'm just going to start the chapter. How y'all feel about that? We feeling the chapter just getting started? I feel like I'm feeling the chapter just getting started. So let's see. 327. Old school Tarnish playing in the chat. I mean, Jump is at a good spot right now. I think people should make it a point to read a couple series. Plus, it just gives you a little variety, a little extra to look forward to every Sunday. All right. Open it up. Set the temp to a toasty 42 degrees Celsius. Heat the bath. Dog, they pulling out a whole strike team to get this man clean. Strip him down, lather, rinse, repeat. This is, man, you know you dirty when like your homies just jump you with water and cleaning supplies. Like getting jumped, nah, bro. Down bad, down atrocious. You could smell him before he got into the shelter. It's confirmed and done. So we all clear. We got Kirishima, Mineta, Kaminari, Ojiro, and Sato and Sero teaming up to give Deku a bath. Both things in the world can be solved by a good bath. Okay, Baku, you trying to fill the tub with dirt? Scrub his skin raw with a wire brush and industrial strength cleanser first. Gotta mind the instructions and the suggested amount though. So, all right, even after the grand apology, alas, nothing has changed. Try to be better, man. Be better. Exploding water on them. Okay. I'm still aiming for number one. Haven't given up on that, which still makes all of you my rivals, including you, Deku, Izuku. Hey, he corrected himself. Then splash Deku with water. Too challenging? Deku is fine, Kachan. I don't know the meaning of challenging. Still, that desire to improve is a good thing, right? Let's use this chance to beat Bakugo at his own game. Fat chance. All right. Like, look, if you get grabbed and forced into a bathtub by a squad of your boys, like, what are you supposed to say? Because, like, all right, yeah, I guess I was out there smelling bad. Nothing you can do. You just got to take that L. Let's see. Oh, chapter 327, rest. All right, perfect. Because I was planning on getting Deku Far From Home out this week. And this it like that title makes me feel okay. Yeah, this is the last chapter. So now I can really feel comfortable when I go type out the script and say, this is the end of the arc. This is what the arc was about. This is what we were trying to establish. We'll be set. All right, cool. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, this arc was the provisional license arc of this whole saga. Understand that. Put that in your heart. I know Tony would hear that and be like, yeah, because it sucks, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's trash. I'm just saying that's what you need to see this as. Deku, where's Uraraka? Already snoozing. Her and a few others crash as soon as that sense of relief hit. Oh, right. I'm so grateful to all of you. And I'm really sorry for the trouble. Yeah, that stuff about One for All. We got your message. The shock's kind of worn off since we read that letter from you, but still, I wish you had told Hawks to answer his phone. Going from quirkless to a top tier power, that couldn't have been easy. What does it feel like? Literally bone breaking, as we know. Sarah coming through. See, I like this because like the person asking that question isn't necessarily highlighted now that I'm looking. Where's the arrow? Tell us who said it. Well, whoever it was, Sarah's like, nah. All right. Anyway. Shoto, Midoriya must be exhausted, so let's just let him sleep. Why else did we drag him back here? Mineta, did you just naturally make an appearance doing that pose? Making fun of the himbo, as usual. As usual. I'm okay. Don't know if I could even fall asleep just yet. Rate my pose. Hold up, Mineta. I like the fact that Mineta feels like he could easily roast Shoto and the other characters, and that's been continued. Expulsion out of 10. Bet. Why not? I treated All Might pretty horribly and haven't seen him since. I can't sleep until I apologize. He's not picking up the phone. And then All Might is here at the window. I am here to say sorry for being so little help, Midoriya kid. That's crazy. You've always done so much for me, All Might. You think we could get a mighty apology of our own since you left us in the dark and just bounced? The battle that will decide it all is close at hand. And Mina just looks like shocked. I'm no longer an active player on the board. I had convinced myself of that. Stain. So I'm sorry for any anxiety I may have caused. I'll skip the details, but I acquired new intel. And we'll have some answers soon enough. I'll crawl through the mud if that's what it takes to join this fight with them. It's nearly time to muster all our forces to follow these kids, wherever that inner flame leads them, to see them along on that journey. These days, my own body limits how much I can contribute, but even so, All Might, those Tenkatsu Bintu boxes you gave me the strength to go on. I got all messed up because I didn't have you around. Together, okay? We shall protect all we hold dear. I'll show these kids I can catch up to the heights they've reached. Thank you. On that note, I must depart. What, where, why? To join Endeavor's group. I have yet other matters to attend to. Tell him to at least send an email. Of course, you matter something? Angry Yami? Only racked with concern. So Endeavor and the others aren't joining us here at UA. He'd rather not be around other people if he doesn't have a good reason to, because of the threat of Dobby represents. Besides, it's not like this whole affair forced a change of heart and all the evacuees staying here. Oh, his nerves have calmed at least. Given that I'm Dobby's brother and Endeavor's son, I think I'm also viewed as a concern. That's some real heavy family drama, dude. Must be eating you up inside, even though you didn't do anything wrong. In a way, I did. Obsessed with the blood in my veins, I lost sight of my origin. But I've changed, and I'm going to prove it until nobody has to worry about me anymore. Ooh. Ojiro, yep. Mineta, the kid who looks in the mirror and thinks he looks like Shoto, yeah. I am here. Yes, definitely. Acted like a fucking horror movie villain for no reason. Just being a weirdo, All Might. Being a weirdo. All right, let me see. Let me see. What a man's man taking away making my tear ducts cry over here. All the evacuees haven't necessarily had a change of heart. Yeah, I guess not. But hey, how about this? Now, I'm not saying the situation's the same, but Jiro's canonically strong enough to lift people with her earlobes now. I like that. What gives cut that out? Oh my, what is it, Jiro? Remember the other time some people were less than thrilled about us and our status? If we're trying to reassure people and bring smiles to their faces, I might have an idea. We're getting the band back together. Like last time at the Culture Festival. Let's show them everything we're made of. We pulled it off once, didn't we? That's true. Because it's not only about bringing it all back the way it is, but we got to make the world a better place than before. Yes, correct. This is actually one of the most anxiety-inducing pages I've seen in a while, going beyond and all. All right. Whipping up. With Garaki in custody, they've compared his polygraph test-based testimony about Shigaraki's growth rate to the results of the Nomu research over at the Central Hospital. It's tough to predict how long it'll take the upgrades to fully adhere in a living subject, but both Garaki and Central Hospital are saying he needs at least 2 full months of rest before he achieves completion. That info also squares with testimony from the assassins Deku captured, all for one trying to get his grubby mitts on one for all before Shigaraki's body is perfected. Whatever he's scheming, if we're looking at a date 2 full months after the attack on Tartarus, that gives us 1 more month to wiggle room to make our move and take the fight to All for One and Shigaraki. That's what we thought. All Might was given some intel by that mad zealot of his, Stain, security records from Tartarus to be exact, along with what's basically a deranged love letter to All Might. Stain wasn't planning to hand over that intel to anyone but the man himself. But who would have thought the hero killer ended up an ally? All right. Okay. Let me let the bishops in real quick, but understand this. Understand this. We've talked about this on previous streams, or I've mentioned it in passing at the very least. I know I've mentioned it in passing. Doc Garaki was at a level at which he had access to Tartarus. In turn, and I've mentioned this, at Camino, All for One said that he was gathering quirks to give to Tomura. He said that he was the one, he was trying to gather these quirks to give them to Tomura Shigaraki. He was supposed to be still actively using the original All for One in Tartarus. How would Ujiko, Dr. Garaki, have gotten the real All for One to give to Shigaraki unless they had, while he had discovered this, then traveled into the prison and performed a surgery on All for One to do the swap while he was in Tartarus? Explain it to me. Explain it to me, my people. Something I just want you to think about. Because, let's see. We got Archbishop East in the building. How you doing, East?
My mic in so they can hear me.
Proper.
All right, 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. This shit on?
Yep. I got you. Y'all can hear East in the chat. Let me know.
I'm gonna wait till they say yeah. Before I kick in my introduction.
I'm still eating breakfast, so. And we got Silvers in the chat. How you doing, Silvers? All right. So after
All
he
right.
said, it's time for you to tell them why the chapter's good. They can hear you.
Okay. It's undefeated on the East, baby. What it do? Did you miss me? I missed you. And I guess who I also missed packing up? The MHA fandom. Ooh, I got a mouthful for you bitch ass niggas today. But I like to catch up with everybody how we been doing today. Hey, yo, shout out to Silvers because you know how it go. All hell twice. The goat. Fuck that bitch ass bird. That's why he ain't got no wings properly. Oh, man. Now I'm waiting to debate. I think I'll wait for Tarnish to get it properly pack everybody up because he was there. Because you leak niggas is getting packed the fuck up today. I ain't hear no excuses. Don't worry, y'all. I want to let some more people come in here. I'm gonna pack the fuck out of the fandom today. I got a mouthful for these niggas.
See, and here's the thing. I don't know if you saw it, but I straight up tweeted the other day, like, I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where the leaks to the chapter, to the scans of the actual official chapter was going to make all the knee-jerk reactionary stuff worthless.
Oh no, this was a new level right here. Just wait until you hear what really happened. I want Tarnish to fully be here to get the because he was fully in depth. I seen their reactions, but I didn't know what they were fucking like tripping about until I read the fucking thing. And then the officials just double confirmed why these niggas was extra fucking goofy. But don't worry, their time is coming. You niggas ain't sliding before the stream over. I'm gonna get y'all niggas. But in the meantime, we've got walk-ins.
Oh shit.
The world.
What's good, everybody?
Dude.
The world champion. Oh yeah. Hogan, we're coming for you, leakers. Oh yeah.
You're gonna feel the world of pain like never before.
Ooh, let me tell you. That's all I got. I don't know. Let's just say last night was a night. Oof. I was in bed at like 9 o'clock last night. It was not. It was.
Oh God.
I know. Like I looked at the clock and it said 9. I'm like, oh my God, why am I in bed at 9 o'clock on a Saturday?
Man, I went to a wedding shower that started at noon yesterday.
Oh shit.
So, oh no, it didn't last that long. So then
Yeah.
it's just like ended up at home. But I also ended up randomly falling asleep at around 9 my time.
Yeah. See, we were at this my fiance, she had this work picnic thing at her boss's like CEO place.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, dude is rich as fuck. Like tennis court backyard, pool backyard. Like man had what is it? He had a bartender there just for this thing, and like caterers just for like barbecue, like grilling cookout shit. I'm like, dude, what? I can.
Hey, Watkins, where you live at again?
I live in Northern Virginia.
Okay.
So-
Hey, Anarchy, you got vacation hours? I'm trying to take a trip out, up north a little bit.
Yeah. Look, you can come up here. We got some good shit here.
Oh yeah, I bet you do. I just heard about some good shit. Huh? What was that?
See, okay, so you're right. People do just hate whenever the students try to be people.
Oh yeah.
And I will say that what people should also know ahead of time is that unless Horikoshi was especially depressed recently and is changing his mind, he's already said he's not going to ever do another arc like Culture Festival. So that's specifically why I'm very anxious about that page where they're all like smiling, like, yeah, we're gonna try to put out another concert.
That's the major thing. I can't wait to really pack these niggas up. I'm itching to really fuck these niggas up. But I'm gonna let Tarnish explain it fully because, like I said, he was there for the full blowout. He can explain it properly. That's how I got the aftermath.
Are you talking about that VC that was the other day?
That was different. That was a little different because they was talking. I was there to pack those niggas up for that too. But a lot of them,
I caught the tail end of that on my lunch break.
Oh, you were there? I didn't know who was there.
I was listening.
Oh God, that was fun.
Man, what happened?
Let me see. Hey, Tarnish, how long you got until you come here? Because we're gonna talk about chapter right now. But Tarnish, let us know how long until you could probably make it. But it's funny. Karen Bailey. He was like, my fault. They were like, all right. It was like, imagine Horror goes on break after this and says, all right, see you when My Hero Shippuden drops. I'll fucking I laugh my ass off. Imagine we get like, okay, listen, now the international heroes are here, and then like, the forces look like they're all revved up to go. And then you just get Shiraki open his eyes, and the next thing you know is like, all right, see you in part 2. Full blown time skip. Like, all right, who died? Who didn't die? Shit. Niggas missing limbs and shit.
So here's what blows my mind on that though, is that the best parts of MHA are the MHA. Like,
I listen, bro. I came here. Let me explain something to these niggas. I came here for the wholesomeness. I didn't expect less than half of this shit when I first started the series to get what we was getting, because I started as an anime on. I seen season 1 fully, like I said, 2016, and then like after that, I was like, nah, I gotta fucking binge this shit, and like I binged it until we got to basically like overhaul. I wasn't expecting this to go like this. Like I expected like a time skip maybe at the 3rd year, or like maybe they jump to the 3rd year, or like we maneuver through the 2nd year and 3rd year, stuff like that at a regular pace, and Shigaraki and them start taking over the underworld little by little. I expect shit to shift like this and never get as dark as this. That was my expectations. The thing I really enjoyed about this series is a lot of the characters and their individuality and their realisticness within this. It's like people want the kids to be out there in the streets already again. I'm like, yeah, so what was the point of bringing Deco back if niggas is gonna leave that nigga at the house alone? Like, hello? I mean, like, fighting is not everything. They do need to ease the people's spirits too. That's kind of the point. Just like how y'all niggas was complaining about Ochiko not doing shit, like everybody else, like, yeah, nigga, get all the heavy hitters were at the fights, big fights, huh? Well, what were they doing after their fights? Laid the fuck out. What was still happening in the streets? Niggas was getting crushed by buildings and needed to be saved. That's where the other people come in. It's not always about fighting. We discussed this in USJ. It's like, there are fucking calamities and shit like this that happens, and that's why we need other people. Not everybody's a fucking heavy hitter. Yeah, All Might is wilding. You need to be there putting on a show for people, All Might, because he was bugging about that. I'm gonna crawl through the mud. That nigga just raising his death flags higher and higher, huh?
Yep.
At every step and turn, he like. But nah, man, like it's like a lot of the wholesome shit. Like I really enjoy. Like the comedy in this chapter is fucking top tier. I don't care about anything else y'all guys say. That comedy was fucking funny, but that is fucking hilarious, man.
Also, can I just say, can we officially change Stain's name to Stan?
oh, it's
Like,
have I talked about this? Have I talked about how the I in Stan is that it's like in Stan, it's like I am a Stan. So it's like you added, there's no I in Stan, but I am one. Like, so he's Stain. But also it was like he was supposed to stay in the series, but no, like, okay. Stain specifically highlights the disconnect between people who worship and stand idols and celebrities and what those people actually are about. And that's always been part of like what he shows, like how corrupt and how easily twisted people's mere liking of a celebrity can all of a sudden become. And like it kind of blows my mind that aspect of Stain isn't discussed more, because like it's like, yeah, he's like super cool, but like when people are like he's the best villain, I'm like, no, he's literally supposed to be an unhinged weeb.
yeah, he is you. Points finger, you.
I mean, it's cool, but
yeah,
he's an unhinged weeb before anything else, like, or a Westaboo, if you want to call him that, since everybody likes to think of All Might as American.
Tanner said he ain't coming around to after 12, so maybe I should just pay.
12 EST.
Yeah.
Yeah, ending Stain, they're the same thing. They're hero obsessed like worshipers. Like that's all it is. And yeah, the giant shark dude being an assassin from All for One Actually, I had a theory about him. So, who wants to hear my theory about the fish guy?
You mean Horty Jones? Yeah, we can talk about Horty Jones.
So, I thought about it, and since some of the assassins from All for One likely got quirks, what if this is the waterfish dude from USJ? Given like a gigantification one, because he already could manipulate water and do like the giant streams and stuff. So what if it's one of those fish villains?
That'd be interesting to see, actually.
Yeah.
Because you notice you got like the spires of water when you go look back at the original scuffle shot too. So
damn, everybody getting all my niggas getting gassed up. Oh, we got super chat. I'll reply to Seth Red.
Oh, making Stain the perfect metaphor for the online fandom. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
What online fandom? Not My Hero fandom. Stain never switched up on online, not once in his life.
All right. In that aspect, you're right.
Seth Reed, he came back to me. He's like, because I asked Seth Reed what he meant by the first message was, it reminds me of during the war arc when they switched to Toga and Ochiko for a smaller scale conflict, though I think that was rooting a bit of sexism. So I asked him what he meant. Seth Reed said, like when MHA shifts into something with lower physical stakes or wholesomeness, suddenly Hori can't write in eyes the air quote fans.
Oh yeah. The things that like that was really obvious. That like it was just like I don't care about these pots and this girl. I don't care about them. And it's like the amount of people who were like they're fighting over a toy, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
oh boy, that shit had me tight.
And it's like, no, dude, Ochako's fighting her because she pulled up on her after having drained the blood of like some innocent person. And she happened to drop the toy in the middle of the fight. That's it. And like it really what it represented was like also how the part of the thing that drives their conflict is their closeness to Deku. Like it's like you have zero appreciation of like metaphor or come on, guys. Like
niggas just want hands. Niggas don't want to perceive anything deeper meaning. They just want raw, gas, raw, gas. Niggas don't like to think. That's all simple it is.
And you know what I was thinking about? How thanks to those 4 wires Ochako has, we genuinely could end up in a state where boom, 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 tap, 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 multiple buildings. Ochako is like throwing them with the zero satellite move and like claps her hands towards the end of it so they get full weight on the swing. And it's like all that would we would have been like familiar with those moves and all that stuff because of that conflict. And it's like Ochako at any point can get extra wild. Stop worrying about like rushing like the biggest fight. That was to emphasize that not only has she gotten to a point where like it basically that kind of just was there to show you Ochako is fully capable as a hand-to-hand combatant of taking on Toga. Like she went from it being like because Toga was distracted and trying to flirt with her that it felt like she had managed to get an advantage to her actually being able to apply pressure and meaningfully combat Toga. So you still got your meathead scaling. It's just that people care about like DC a little too much. Like they need that big AoE pie plate damage before they really feel good about it.
Yo, what's up, Ndot? Thanks for popping through. Real Seth said raw, gas exists. It's called all the cancel jump manga. RFP Zip man, crazy.
Man, I don't be having the patience often.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people just don't have the patience anymore. Everyone just wants everything right away. I'm like, dude, just chill out. Things will be explained, and I promise you, it'll be fine.
So you gotta go.
One thing I want to say real quick because I did watch the episode yesterday. I watched the finale. I told you niggas we shouldn't have gone with the High Blue Sky as the finale of season 5, and I specifically said we were gonna end up with a bunch of cuts if we did it. All right. Anyway, so And before somebody goes, well, if we would have cut up the studio mandated, see, you already lost me. Studio mandated. Next, like it's not even studio mandated. The station that mandated. You can't tell the channel airing your show what to do. It's the other way around. You do what they tell you. So, and if they cut it to, or you can start planning your season predictions based off of the actual track record and try to what would be optimal based off that. Cut it out. Start being realistic. Had enough of it. But I also want to say that they kind of wanted to do what Horikoshi did, where 2018 and 2019 both ended with Deku and Shigaraki respectively, or Shigaraki and then Deku respectively gaining more power. Or it was like 2018, 2019. Basically, like the revelation of Black Whip was at the very end of the year, and then the very following year ended with us confirming that Shigaraki was going to get like all for one. So it was like, we're getting power, we're getting power. So each course ends with the acquisition of power. So that's one thing. And then I'm a little worried about, I'm not like too worried because I don't think we're going to get a second pandemic that will come in and interrupt the production for the next season. But I do, yeah, I do think we, oh shit. I think, yeah, I don't think it was like terrible. I just think it was censored. And not because of the gore, just other stuff that I'm more worried about and writing about.
What are we talking about?
With MVA.
Yeah, okay. I was like, you was talking, then you just kind of.
Oh, it cut me out?
No, you just kind of like, you just brought up NBA without saying NBA, but you could tell you was kind of talking about NBA.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure because it was Mega said something in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, waiting for the rest of White Despair. Black
White Despair
question.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's not the worst adaptation, but I'm gonna recommend anybody the manga. Like my brother and them finally, because they watched the dub. My brother and his girl, when they do it, I'm gonna explain to them in detail. Like, this is stuff you missed for their character arcs and stuff like that. That was the issue. The censorship, I didn't have no problem with that. My stuff was the stuff that was being cut. But like we already discussed, there's a bunch of shit that goes into that.
Yeah.
Simply, but their characters were butchered.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of MVA. I'll probably watch it when it gets dubbed with my fiance.
True that. Fiance. Well, probably by that time should be the wife. Yeah,
true.
Sir.
Shit, that's only 20 days away.
That's crazy. White Despair Black Hope is done, Anki. You go ahead.
It's an easy coup that when they next meet, Shigaraki will be complete. Yeah, so my thing is that I was never 100% certain All for One's Vestige was supposed to just be running shit as powerfully as he is. And I feel like a completed Shigaraki would not have necessarily automatically been susceptible to that, but instead would have been enhanced to potentially deal with it.
You know, this is what I want to talk about. I think it's everybody's homework assignment. Everybody go reread the war, because what people kind of forget weekly are all the details that kind of add up within the narrative of the story. You kind of forget how weakened Shigaraki was, and also he kind of like died, like he got burnt to a fucking crisp, and basically died again, and then off went said, "Let me your body." But remember, prior to that, he dusted the Vestiges. The Vestiges didn't show up the entire time once again. So Shigaraki overtaking the Vestiges is not a single problem whatsoever. He literally just needs to rest and come back when he come back. Like, people talk about the Vestiges still gonna be there, this and that. Like, the Vestiges won't be a single problem whatsoever. Like, he gonna stomp that nigga out like he did at 75% with no quirk. He decayed that nigga with no quirk inside his head. And that nigga did not pop up again until he's like, yo, tomorrow, lend me your body. You've been burnt and shit like that. They never having a fight in the world, but like, you know, and then like basically in the world, and then, you know, Shigaraki's on the back foot, he was sleeping. Then he woke up himself. Again, the Vestiges nowhere to be found. But then Spinner put the hand on his face, and then that awoke in a symbiotic relationship. But trust and believe, if we talking about rage and the battle of hearts, All for One not winning that fight. Remember that nigga got no real hatred in his heart. I asked my homie Naya one time, he was like, well, what kind of makes Shigaraki more intimidating to All For One is that Shigaraki has more heart. And it's like you're fighting a feral wild beast. Like you can be a human and have your intellect all you want. But when you find a feral wild beast that got his back cornered against the wall, that's not something you really want to deal with. And we seen what happens when you corner Shigaraki. Like, okay, now he gonna get his. Don't worry about Shigaraki, y'all. That's like Tarnish always says. The last thing this nigga said is, "Don't sleep on me." He said, "Yo, I'm not gonna be your pawn." Like he gonna come back full force and fuck everybody up. That's what people not understanding.
So one of the things that might be a major concern of All For Ones is that because I see the vestige as a test that like, because if Shigaraki wants to be able to have this much power, he needs to be more capable and like focused on the technical aspects of wielding said power instead of just looking at it and like just clubbing things like he had been doing for so long. And so I feel like what he's really trying to do is make sure that he expects Shigaraki to be able to defeat Deku is what I'm thinking. And he expects Shigaraki to be capable of taking One For All, but he does not expect Shigaraki to actually want to take the quirk, because All For One would never let the quirk just die out. He always makes sure to confirm that the person doesn't have it anymore. And if you can't take it, then he just lets them live, it seems like. So, or he'll like launch them away so they can go find somebody to give it to. So he's more than likely, he's trying to make sure that he actually gets his brother back before Shigaraki just starts killing whoever he wants. That's to me, that's what it seems to be. Yeah. Rule of twos.
Yeah. You can also have it literally like both ways essentially. Because you got to think that's the problem. People like, oh, he just want this or he just want that. It's like you do realize that the vestige is sitting there and he eggs Shigaraki to take on the quirk, and Shigaraki overtops him and does take One For All. You kind of do realize he gets what he wants essentially. Like at the end of the day, he still gets what he wants. Like no matter which angle you look at it, it's just like people look at it just from one side or one thing. It's like, nah, dog, you can do a lot. You can do multiple things and achieve multiple objectives. Not everything is just so linear and one-sided. It's not like this is like a fucking video game where you got one choice and one choice only, or two choices only. Like, no, it's real life. You can do a multiple, you can blend things together to suit your will. Nigga had a lot of fucking like time to do this shit. He's not one trick mind.
Like, well, and I think there's a lot of variables that go into quirks anyway. And I always say that the biggest variable that I think on the table right now, and what I wanted to say is what I expect the end of this chapter to lead to is for the heroes to do a preemptive strike without even telling Deku. And for that to cost them major. I think they're about to G-ball it. And they're going to try to do a strike team without Midoriya, and that's going to be the catalyst for either an attack on UA or something else. Furthermore, I think Toga might have already infiltrated Shiketsu. And I think that Shiketsu being directly connected to UA is likely to come into play, specifically for also villains getting into UA without having to come from the outside. Let's see. If actually wanted to be a healthy, strong body, he would have simply stolen Overhaul's quirk when he encountered him at Tartarus. If he had stolen that quirk, he could have completely healed this current body. Yep. Like, I'm pretty sure Overhaul could have fixed him.
Let's explain this. All right. I'm not validating a single person that really truly believes All For One really wants this nigga body. You know why it don't work? Because it's not a twist. It's not. You know how that works? Oh my gosh, it's a twist. He wants his body. When did he ever once state he wanted his body or insinuate that? Everything he did in that arc was him getting a little bit too greedy. He's like, yo, your little presence and conscience, Shigaraki told him your presence conscience is too strong. Then he said, he's like, no, I'm just trying to like get my brother. And everything is for tomorrow's will. Even when he left, he was in real and like, if you like I keep saying, put your emotions aside and think logically with your brain. Them leaving was the best plan they could ever imagine for. Because now Shigaraki gets to go back and rest up. They got all this chaos in the street. The heroes can't keep up. Heroes dropping like flies. Like if they had pressed on, Shigaraki's body would have been a lot worse. Took longer. And it might have went like completely differently. They would have wore each other out. Whereas now Shigaraki don't got time to rest, chillax, kick their feet up, and have to buy daytime. Meanwhile, the heroes are fucking rushing and stressing and running around while they're losing more forces by the day. So like they made the right decision, and All For One knew what he needed to do. And he, like he said, he was thinking about Deku, all that other shit. Like he knew what needed to be done, bro. It's like he made the right call ultimately. And it's like if he wanted Shigaraki body, they wouldn't. It was like he would already took it. It would have been a twist like that. Shigaraki can defend himself. He's not a little princess. He don't need Deku. He beat that nigga once. He could do it again. He would do it again. And people talking about like, oh, they team up to defeat All For One. Nigga, Shigaraki could beat the Vestiges and the real nigga by himself. Like, that's what really be bad for me. It would look ridiculous. Like, he don't want his body. It's not a twist if you already keep saying, oh, he just want his body when he get complete. He just want his body to get complete. No, the twist would be, oh, tomorrow, I didn't say this, but due to the things, the context clues that were laid out, it was, oh, I just wanted you just to pass me fully. Not be my little pawn. That's not a real demon lord. That's just a fucking puppet on strings.
And like, I kind of feel like All For One, and because I'm like also reading the chat, and the way Shigaraki interact, it just doesn't line up with like the whole passing on. But there's only one way I could see All For One actually becoming the main villain, and it would not be through body swapping, because at that point you forever have these consciousness battling each other anyway. So he wouldn't be the true main villain. It would be a split role, and I don't really see either character like being put into splitting time. Is if All For One himself arrives at UA and has an interaction with Eri and gets rewound. But then at that point, he would probably do his best to take the original All For One back from Shigaraki, because he wouldn't want to give that. So then Shigaraki would just be genetically modified and have decay. Maybe. So it's like, unless that's what people are going for, I don't really see how we get Shigaraki to fight back, unless All For One like ends up taking all of his quirks, and because he's like physically strong, like All Might, we just get like the All Might versus All For One battle, but with Shigaraki and All For One, with somebody using raw sheer force again. But then at that point, like, why would you do that? Because I mean, Deku fights more like an All For One descendant than at that point. So you'd have like, I guess, inverted it, but I don't know.
You see how the loops you have to go through just to make the shit make sense, when it simply just doesn't really add up with what's presented. That's my thing. Like, it's much more simpler just to do the logical thing than to do the irrational thing that would cause more headache than not. But yeah, this community weird. Exactly, Pedro. All For One is not Orochimaru. I told you the shackles of that series will never let this community go, ever.
I think part of it is also people like feeling like they know what's up. So if they do it this way, they feel like they know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, see, like I'm so smart because I know what's going on, but
I don't know. People don't like stuff when they can't see where it's going. Like, huh? That's kind of the point. Like, you know, mystery, suspense, a twist. How is it good if I know everything that's going to happen? I'm not going to pay $20 to go see a movie if you tell me beat for beat what's going to happen. Fuck. I go to be surprised to see things play out myself.
But see, it doesn't fit my headcanon. So therefore, it's wrong and it's shit writing and it's bad because it doesn't fit my headcanon.
Yeah. You're right. The ultimate phrase. Head cannon.
Oh God.
That's it, ridiculous.
Also, can we talk about how one thing throughout this series is that over this past year, Endeavor has just constantly been leveling up and increasing his power level further? Because what I mean by that is when this costume was first introduced and this support gear was introduced, he said he couldn't fly. He could mostly like prevent himself from falling. He didn't feel comfortable with his flight. And if you think back to Endeavor Agency, he was actually like doing some flying, but it was also a lot of jumping off the walls of buildings. Like when you see the route he takes against Star Servant. There's a couple lines of like impact dots of him like stepping on the walls and stuff. But now we see him basically like flying over Tartarus in open air, just casually doing that for a distance. So we've gone from him like overheating for within like 10 minutes to him just being willing to fly to the next mission.
Exactly. Like he's literally like that shit's so cool to me. Like it's kind of cool. Like and then his officials once again won because they directly explain that All Might is with the rest of those niggas.
Wait, what?
Yeah, All Might said he's with Endeavor, Hawks, and
yeah. That
the scans didn't really say that. They're saying like he was like more like I'm just off. I'll be back. You know, I'm off. Do this thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing that makes this worrying because this situation is the perfect situation for the future to have not been changed.
Exactly. Like I keep telling people, the person that's gonna put All Might in the dirt is Shigaraki. For All Might not to die and have like logical sense, you have to beat back the point where he was like, "Don't worry, I'll be the one to change the future." Was the only one that could do that. Air Quotes deck. Although Air was there, the anomaly that people seem to be forgetting, rewinding shit. It wasn't just Deco alone. It was Air was the biggest factor in that. And then it's like, okay, it's like okay, well, you kind of need Deku there to beat Shigaraki, but Deku's not beating Shigaraki. Then he's not there, so he can't change the future for all those reasons. So All Might just not finna go lollygag and a dilly on. Like, it just don't work. Once again. And Daniel, I want to talk about what Daniel talked about real quick too. This is a good point. I do wonder though, the other assassins are also going to be treated as kind of weaklings because if that happens, the whole Tartarus having the worst criminals gets wasted. Not necessarily, because as you've seen with Dictator, he wasn't necessarily strong, but he is dangerous in himself. That's why one reason he would have been locked up in Tartarus.
Wait, this also ignores the cultural aspects of Japan too, because we're talking about, like, for example, if you are a foreigner in Japan and you get accused of any crime, there's like a 99.999% chance you're just going to jail. Like so, and then think about how Twice basically couldn't get a job and wasn't able to work anymore because of a car accident when he was little from somebody who ran into the road. So the worst of the criminals, the worst of the worst in Tartarus terms and within the cultural context, it should actually moreover read as a red flag a little, because like Armless Overhaul was in Tartarus. Armless needing psychological therapy Overhaul was in Tartarus.
Yeah, that nigga was not a threat to anybody. Nigga got no arms.
He needed to be in a mental institution to take care of him, and he was in Tartarus. So like the idea of the worst all being truly the most heinous is moreover a perspective thing, and how like criminals are just the worst. Like think about it when Kamui Woods called a purse snatcher who just used this quirk in rush hour traffic, "You're in the incarnation of evil." They're hyperbolic as hell. And we got a super chat. MK the baby.
Yeah,
my week feels so complete without you guys. So glad you're back. Keep it up, friends. We will. We will.
Thank you. We don't have the full force here today, but some of them are dragging their feet. They'll be in here. And Ponzi won't be, but Squid's on the way in a little bit. He said Tarner should be here soon. So let's address. Let's double back off this because there's a lot of good comments that can give us some good conversations. to finish up with this thing, like I said, not everybody's quirk has to like okay, if Momo was a villain, right? They would lock her up. But if you put Momo against like a lot of niggas in class, they can beat her, right? But it still doesn't change the fact that she's dangerous. And it's like it's a lot of ways you look at it and Tartarus, because we don't know we don't because like it's not confirmed that Off One got the biggest and the baddest of the bad. He mainly just sent that like, yo, every fight is gonna grind away your soul. He's just sending niggas after Deku just to give him a headache and wear down his soul. Nobody said he got the biggest and baddest out of Tartarus and just sent them after Deku. This is more so just a plot and toy just to fuck with Deku and wear down his mind. To be honest, I don't think he believes anybody with that after that feather claw thing. I don't think he believes anybody to actually succeed or really cares. Like, I think it's one of those things like, well, they do succeed. Haha, wonderful. But I don't think he really cares for anybody to really succeed because they can't find him. He's not really giving anybody any information. Because if he did have given the assassins information, then they would have been like, all right, we know where Off One is actually at. But remember, they don't know where he's at even after interrogating the other assassins. So it's like
even when they did get that information, look what happened. Like they got the information of a meeting place and a mansion exploded.
Exactly. So it's like yeah, so it's like them, it's like I think it's not because it's never confirmed. Oh, he got the biggest and baddest niggas. It's like, no, they're just others in there. And we know how strong Deku, especially at the 5 gym, we know how strong, Deku's really up there. Some of y'all really be, gaslighting Deku a little bit too far, but I'll let we ain't gonna have that conversation because we know how y'all Deku fanboys be. Y'all really be gassing that nigga. But still, it's not like we can't see other people even. We can with Shigaraki, now we know other people be getting quirks, double quirks too. So we know they could even level up even further on like other assassins and stuff like that. So it's like it doesn't really diminish them if you actually depend on how you look at it. And I think Dictator wasn't really a fighter. He was just somebody very dangerous with his quirk. And that's one of the things about MHA. Not everybody has to have like a big explosion, bombastic quirk to be dangerous. Like Momo's quirk is really dangerous in the wrong hands and the proper motherfucker using that shit. Like honestly. That's the thing. It's about who's using that stuff. So it's like you can see the Kaiju nigga being dangerous. We don't know how quickly that fight went, but we know the other assassin was probably a scrub. He got taken out. But that's like what 2 weak niggas and then like one probably tough mid-tier fight, and then the hardest fight Deku had since like ever, probably with Nagant. She was giving that nigga to work.
There's something else I want to point out though, too, is that Nagant was a harder fight for Deku than Muscular. Nagant nobody's first thought would be that Nagant scales higher than Muscular if you just thought about their quirks and like saw them. So there's more to being dangerous than just having like the high stats. The problem is that Deku is both a stat stick and uses thought. So unless you're a high range fighter, you're probably not going to be in that much of an advantage over him. That's why only Nagant was going to be considered a major threat, because of most of the other ones might, like Muscular lost to Deku before he fully had his power train. And like to a certain degree, you can argue that Muscular as he is now would lose to, like in my opinion, the current Muscular would still lose to someone like Shoto or Bakugo. And I could even see him losing to Tokoyami if it was nighttime.
Oh, he definitely was Tokoyami.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if they just go for actual offensive ability instead of trying to, like I don't have any problem with them beating Muscular. Mm-hmm. So to me, that changes how, because the other thing is their generation just straight up, in a lot of cases, more than likely, I'm kind of tired. Leave me alone, Mello. The quirks are better. Like, I wouldn't say Tartarus is completely a front, just that the best criminals aren't getting caught.
Yeah, I think so. Let me put it like this. So, and I think this is a thing with Hawk saying what he said. I'm not gonna take. I take a lot of what some of the characters say at face value, because think about it. If push came to shove and Deku needed to do what he really needed to do, it's like, because it's like I think I find it more nuanced and straightforward. I'm not really finna take everything Hawk said properly. Is like, that's a tall order for most. He didn't say every single person, but Nagant. We read, he said most, which makes sense. That not like most like what with your quirk, Deku with your quirk, it's a tall order for most of them. But the person we should really specifically look out for is Lady Nagant, since she's the person who literally goes down, tracks people, captures them, or kills them when need be done. She's literally that person for that target. So like, let me line up. Let me give a scenario for y'all. I need let's say Walker's on the loose, right? Walkins is a big threat. We in the Empire. Walkins is the biggest threat to me. Now I need to track down Walkins. I need to most likely I need to capture him alive. Correct. So I'm gonna pick four Spider-Man villains. I got Venom. I got Lizard. I got Electro, and I got Craven. Out of those four niggas, all powerhouses, who you think I'm gonna choose to track and get Walkins for me? Let's see. The nigga named Craven the Hunter, who's been doing this shit. I'm going to pick the most suitable for that and most picked out. That means she was the most dangerous and most likely because that's what she does. That's what she's been doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like other niggas can't bang with Deku. We don't know how strong those guys were. They never said, yo, it was the top of the food chain. Like, if you just look at his speech, he said, yo, every battle you fight is going to wear down your soul. That's all he was doing, just wearing down his soul. Nobody confirmed that. Yeah, he got the baddest niggas in Tartarus, but look, they getting watched by Deku. Like, I mean, come on now. Like, it's not like they said, like, oh, these are the top 5 baddest niggas in Tartarus, and then Deku off screen 2 of them, and then the rest of them getting beat up by like scrubs. No, that's not the case. We haven't seen the full effect of niggas from Tartarus, honestly, if we're keeping it above. Anybody want to chime before we move to the next topic?
Also, I want to point out that Stain is inherently one of the most effective and dangerous fighters we've had, and he opted to not work with All for One. And like Muscular, who is also an extremely dangerous asset, also did not work with All for One directly or on mission. So some of the more dangerous ones that like might be considered more of like a high tier threat also might not have just opted to work with All for One.
Like put it like this. After Toxic Chainsaw, we know that niggas up there, right? You can't honestly tell me that you gonna possibly believe that there are no villains that are banging with the top 10 heroes. You can't truly tell me you believe they know niggas up in here banging with the top 10 heroes. And so far, we only seen like fucking Nagant who can bang with the top 10 after her airwalk. Like, there's no like we know there's no confirmation, and plus we don't know if All for One's keeping niggas to his side with him. If you look at the little volume 30 extras, they had talking about the All for One smugglers. We don't know. There's a lot we don't know. We haven't seen the full effect of Tartarus just to be calling them niggas a front and scrubs and waste, because they never got gassed up to be the baddest of the baddest. Like, oh, he just got more assassins, and we just assumed based off Nagant everybody was going to be on that same level. But Nagant was the one that you should be worried about in the first place. She's the best tracker and hunter and all this and other. I don't believe he got anybody. I didn't see anybody else blow up, so I don't think anybody else was meant to be like that much of a fucking, a bet. That's something that he was gonna bet on. That's the thing. Because y'all don't know who Horcrux you're gonna pull out the bag. I bet y'all before the end of the year, somebody else gonna pop up. Y'all gonna be gassing that villain up. I promise you. And they're gonna be one from Tartarus or something like that.
Because also, oh, hey, welcome to the congregation, Whack.
Oh, welcome.
Enjoy your emotes.
Yes.
And Alves is here. We don't know Snipe's rank, but which I think means that his rank almost isn't worth bringing up. But at the same time, if he's a UA teacher, I imagine during his heyday, he was one of the top tiers. And like, oh, by the way, if we were ever going to have a time travel Aerie plot, instead of her going back in time to like go make all One for All or whatever, would it make more sense for her to just go back to the USJ and be like, hey, yo, Snipe, look at this footage. Today, you get the option to shoot that nigga in the face. Take it.
Exactly. That's what I would have done in real life.
Whole plot solved right there. Hey, yo, Snipe, shoot that nigga in the face this time.
Like, you just don't want to mellow. You know you don't. We know you don't fuck with us mellow. It's okay, bro. Just be honest. I know the other day you called me, said it was because I was a big black jigaboo nut. Nah.
Sir.
Oh. White Despair Black Hole. We know that Dictator went up against Crust, so that's one assassin who went up against Top 10, although obviously didn't work out well for Dictator. Yeah, and we don't even know how that fight went.
It was called the Bloodless Surrender case.
Yeah, so we don't really have no real context about how that fight actually went. How it had to be something serious though, because like Anarchy just said, this shit is like, you know.
Crust made him a pizza.
Yeah.
But also, Tartarus villains have been built up as threats, but it's also worth noting not every villain we encounter is going to have been kept at Tartarus. The Cider gang was from like a different prison. The dude that Endeavor fought with the nail gun was from another prison. So we can run into different gangs and all kinds of stuff throughout this. Some of the assassins might actually be getting saved for members of Class 1A to have fights against them because Deku scale is higher. We might end up seeing them being proactive in fighting certain assassins. They might be banding together and then eventually going to go do like a strike raid similar to the Vanguard Action Squad when they pulled up with Dabi. We have a lot of flexibility in what these villains can do because we also have the 100 some people from the MLA running in the streets.
Yeah, and those niggas are above average, your average pro heroes, and they managed to escape past some of them too. Like, we don't know their quirks or how dangerous they truly are. Hey, Sheena. And Daniel, he's like probably at most only one assassin gets some kind of importance. Okay, that's just the assassin. What about the other people that aren't assassins? That just raw ass niggas and bangers. Like, y'all be trying to limit these niggas. Like, who says Horikoshi? Who said y'all be trying to limit them? But who made the rules? Horikoshi can't do what he want to do and bring us some other raw ass niggas. Like, there's nothing just saying that these assassins were the top of the food chain. He just picked these niggas. Like, oh, you have a good quirk. You have a good quirk for this. You have a good quirk for that. And then based off a lot of shit too, it's like the stronger you are, the more you're more likely you are to be less influential and run off on your own or do your own type of thing. Like, think about it. If Bakugo was older, right, and he was in Tartarus, you think he gonna be swayed by All For One, or he gonna go do his own shit, make his own crew and do his own thing? Think we all know the answer to that one, right?
Oh.
Okay, then he not gonna be far off one. So same shit goes too. It's like he got the people most easily. You seen how Dictator was running like, ooh, if I bring you to him, I'm my Lord and Savior. Like then you seen the other shark kaiju nigga? He definitely like a fucking meathead brawler. And the Yakuza assassin nigga, he definitely like somebody could just be scooped up and picked up for that. And a guy, we already seen her story on why she did that. Like, if you stop thinking so much about the power aspect of it and more the logistics of it. And like how personalities matter and how each assassin was basically like chosen based off what we can see and some of what we know. Don't just think about power and think about if somebody like Bakugo was in Tartarus, he would get out and do his own fucking thing. Like he would be out banging. He'd be like, I'll get my own shit. I ain't finna follow you, nigga. I'm top dog. I can do what I want to do. Like, come on now. Yeah, I'm still curious about that too. That one, all 7 prisons they attack is just that one that's just kind of like.
But Bakugo's gonna be swayed by all For One.
That's just she just be trolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Like, that's why I ain't even in knowledge because he just be chilling. I guess hold on. There's some other things up here earlier. Yeah, but basically, y'all stop downplaying the assassin. Stop downplaying like Horikoshi with the assassins. Like, not all of them were supposed to be the biggest back. A lot of them probably weaker minded. Like, again, look at Dictator. Also, it's like he know how to manipulate people, bro.
My question is, in what world does Horikoshi set up like 8 opponents and then make us fight each of them in 1v1s? Mm-hmm. Like, even with the Shie Hasaikai, it was like all the expendables were seen to like portrayed as like similar rank and value, but it was very clear that certain groups had scaled better than others. Like the Trash Trio, they were probably like the weakest set, but they were all members of the expendables or the 8 expendable bullets. you have to pair a Rappa with Tengai.
Yeah, like
So I don't see where this idea that they all have to be like the same or like these super high tier villains to be high tier criminals, which is the other thing too, is that like inherently the word villain is overly charged in this culture, in this society. All for one even points this out in vigilantes. And we see that playing out with like, well, some of these guys aren't even as big of a threat as you would think based on what they were like lauded as. It's like, yeah, because the inverse community overhypes the villainy of some of these people.
yeah, and this is my thing too. It's like y'all gotta learn how to scale against a lot of shit too. Like and like in my hero, it's so weird. Muscular and Moonfish really get downplayed in these strengths. Like Muscular really got hold the second time around when you think about it, because he got crippled before he ran into Deku. But if you think about what Deku had to do to take out Muscular, he literally had to use 100%. And by flicking his like fingers again in order to get the blowback and hit him on his thing. Y'all don't realize how much power Deku really had to use to get that nigga out the paint. And the same shit goes with Moonfish. Remember, he gave y'all two favorite boys, two of the strongest in the class, that work. You can like blame it on they couldn't use their full power because of this or that and other. It was like, well, once again, quirk matchups matter. So y'all make the excuse there, but not against like what Tokiyami had tonight. But you use that as a detractor against Tokiyami to take it away from him. It's like, well, if it was like, daytime or something, it probably wouldn't have been the same. But okay, but in favor of Bakugo and Shoto, well, they were like in an open space, they could use their quirks, or they said they couldn't fight back, then it would have been different. It's like, you see how you're doing that thing? What you only like something or use it to your advantage when it helps out your agenda or your point of view. So it's like quirk matchups also matter too. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like a too much power skill. It's like y'all taking the assassin thing like a little bit too hard at heart. I think it's just the expectation that we thought he was going to be fighting assassins the entire arc.
And what's funny about that is that's not what we were told we were fighting this arc. You know what we were told we were going to be fighting this arc?
All for one.
All of society.
Oh, see, look, there you go. Bar me up.
So we had Deku fighting Muscular, who was just like pure villainy. We had him fighting retired hero or a former hero. Oh, look at that. Somebody who wanted good, or basically you could think of her as a vigilante at that point. Then you have to factor in that you had his conflict with 1A, which was people who are supposed to be clearly on the good side. And then the final conflict being with the civilians. Deku ran the gauntlet of society this arc. It wasn't about fighting assassins. And this is why I don't like a lot of the stuff that people say, because motherfuckers don't actually be paying attention to what the arcs are about. That's why calling it the villain hunt arc is wrong. Now that I explain that, people in the chat, East, Walkers, should it still be called the villain hunt arc?
No, sir. I never even agreed to villain hunt arc in the first place because they never had a foot to stand on to go hunt the villains. But if anything, when All For One popped up with the assassins, it was like the tide changed.
Like, really, they were just trying to bait the villain. It's more like villain bait arc if you want to focus on what the villains were doing.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, so let's talk about this one. Yes, Daniel, we get another mass prison break when Shigaraki get his army back. Like, people don't realize that. Like, I was talking to people, like, the amount of shit that Shigaraki gonna be able to, like, he gonna be unchecked, untamed when he fully come back properly. They're not gonna be having that whole Eraserhead gimmick like they did again. Like, that kept everybody alive. This time around, oh no, sir. Like, it's not gonna be no good for these niggas. I think we should talk about this though, something from the actual chapter.
The fact that Horikoshi went out of his way to keep Deku and Ochako from getting to interact again.
No, that's actually a good one too. That's actually definitely a good thing. People were talking about that too. It's like, oh, they kind of postponing that. But I think a lot of people, I think past the initial like leaks thing that I can't wait to talk about and pack these niggas up for soon enough, everybody. But another thing was that a lot of people still like they were upset about the All Might thing because it kind of fell flat for them, which is understandable. The All Might Decker reunion, because some people are the other belief they want to meet again. Then if they did meet again, it'd be more dramatic or longer of a meeting. So what were you? I give them
my
that
thing is when I was reading it, you weren't in here for that part. That's right. So as I was reading, I'm pretty sure I straight up said that that feels like a death flag more than anything. Because when All Might comes back, he's introduced almost like a ghost. Like he's outside the window, pressed against it. It's like, and it looks kind of like a scene out of a horror film, but like one that's a little more funny, you know, like the scary movie type.
Yeah.
But when you look at it from that angle, it's like you got All Might coming back. He's sitting here questioning, and now he's decided he's going to run into combat. And to me, the thing that would have allowed All Might to change the future is actually stepping down here. Because Night Eye saying you will die to a terrible villain has always struck me as odd, because that way, because, and this is important, because a lot of people are like, well, he missed a chance to die at Camino. Camino would have been the time. But Night Eye told All Might, you will die to a horrible villain. Why would he say a horrible villain instead of just saying All for One, when we know that Night Eye would know what All for One looks like, because they were working together at the time the All for One case came up that led to the conflict where All Might punched Papa Rocky's lining off.
And that's the thing too. And then another thing about that too is like, remember, the further it is into the future, the less visible everything is. So if he's looking at All Might's future specifically, he can visibly see All Might, yes, but the figure would be more molded and like, you know, less tellable. And by the way, they've never seen Shigaraki's actual face. Matter of fact, they even know that nigga's existence properly.
Right.
And then like it's like he had the mask on his face and all his hands. By the time you see Shigaraki again kill All Might, he's gonna be he's a different fucking person. Different drip, different look. His whole face is out. It's like they wouldn't have even seen his face. They didn't even see his face prior to that. So it's like they just know this nigga with his hand on. So it's like.
So here's my thing. The way that Night Eye's vision was shown to us is that when he looks at your future, he sees what you're seeing. So basically, he's getting a first-person view and watching you walk around. So he's watching from your perspective, which means if he was looking at All Might's future, he was looking from All Might's perspective. So if somebody's killing All Might and All Might can see them, then we know that whoever was killing All Might was somebody that Night Eye doesn't know the face of.
Exactly. And now whack the All Might, like it's like the subversion of the master dying trope already happened. Like he had that point at Camino, but it got thrown. Like that already happened. Now he's dead. That flag that's done. He's a done deal. All right, just say your prayers. I want y'all to just be prepared. That nigga is gone. Like this whole thing right now is just to work. That's why I'm like all these happy niceness and stuff like that. Like it's just to work. Y'all gonna get fooled again, just like people got fooled when it's like, all right, we teaming up, top 3 Deco and All Might. I laughed when I watched that shit at like 2 seconds. I was like, he gonna fool y'all. And guess what happened? They couldn't keep up with Deku because they couldn't. His danger system was going off. He go off on his own. Dark Deku happened. Nagano fucking blown up. Endeavor and all these niggas down bad. Like, come on now. Like, it's just the work. That's all it is. They got a little hope again right now, but that's just because he's just kind of trying to set y'all up, which I feel bad for because some of y'all actually falling for it.
Yep. Let's see. Yep. What White Despair said here, because he still sees, like, he still gets to watch in 1080p, but like if he's looking at next Tuesday, there's a chance he can be like, yeah, that should be around noon, versus looking at like 5 years, 6 years in the future. It's like shit is happening.
You dying. I know that much. I can hear you screaming in
Yeah.
agony and pain.
And that's the other thing, is that the fight between, like, when we find out about the prophecy, it's said that that happened about 5 to 6 years ago. Or when we finally get that, All Might tells Deku that he fought someone about 5 years ago. But we can tell that whatever the fight it was, the only big fight that Deku could think of where All Might must have been a little less active was the Toxic Chainsaw fight. So we know that we have to move ahead of the Toxic Chainsaw fight. We know that. So even if we put that like a month or two ahead of the Toxic Chainsaw fight, which must have been one that had a lot of destruction to it, because they were able to use it as a good cover for All Might to be out of commission or out of the scenes for a while. And so looking at it from that angle, you could say that All Might's like 5 years from then would have been around the time of like around Camino, but we're hitting that 6 mark. Or it could just be that straight up it was more than 6 years, and I didn't realize that because he's looking far into the future.
Yeah, but the way it lines up, the timeline's already here for that point to happen. Because it's like, the whole 6-7 years thing is already up. He was like, yeah, around this time or next year. And then he was like, that's like, he's like, I remember the conversation, like Dick was like, wait, that's like next year, All Might. And we're already in next year now. And as you know, Shigaraki's waking up soon. All Might's talking about, I'm gonna be on the front lines too. I'm crawling through the mud. I'm gonna be out here with my boys and shit like that. So it's like, yeah, the time frame is all consistently adding up for it to be. Bye. And you hear that? That silence from Walking? That's because he's wearing the belt right now. He's looking at y'all with disgust.
Mm-hmm. Just I can't.
But yeah. So also the way I look at it is, if they do try to throw a concert, it's getting interrupted.
Yeah.
I mean, Horcrux already said it was like, that was like the most school like shit we ever getting.
So, but if it does get interrupted with all of 1A working together on something, it'll give them a really good chance to prove themselves to the people. So that'll also balance out that way.
I'm also wondering if they do that, who gets the W's and who gets the L's. How do we divide that up? Because not everybody getting no W in these next go around, because they're gonna be fighting some. See, before people don't think we realize. I didn't even realize how much the kids had grown. A lot of the kids had grown in total during the war, because not everybody got to properly flex their strength on a one moment type beat like some other characters did. But looking back when they was trying to get Deku, literally like everybody was pulling out new moves out their hats and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Ojiro with his tail dance, like Jiro with her heartbeat shit. I'm like, even Tokyo put out another new move again. I'm like, shit, these niggas was actually, out in that bitch putting in work. They grow more than I had realized they did. So it's like, all right, they're gonna fight them. Like, the villain side is so stacked, bro. Like, as far as characters go, that we haven't, like, we know exist, but we haven't actually fully met. That they extend past the fucking hero side, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, so yeah, Camino could have been that moment, but I just feel like he just would have said All for One. So I think All for One is destined to not be the person who kills All Might either.
I mean, he already said his intention off him. I mean, Shigaraki been set up to kill All Might since his induction. Since USJ, he literally said, yo, we here to kill this nigga. Hasn't changed about that once. Hasn't changed his mind about that once. All for One may say he done, but Shigaraki never once stated that himself. That I'm not interested in All Might.
Yeah, All for One's got a new toy.
And it's also important to note that what Night Eye said specifically was, if you keep doing this, you will die. So him choosing to not keep fighting after Camino is arguably like the future change. So And if you remember what he said, anything I see happens, the time just kind of like readjusts usually. So there's a chance just by him not fighting for a while, when he had specifically been told, if you keep fighting, you'll die this death. That could be what decided it right there, actually. Just another thing, like as long as he stays on the bench, he gets to live. But if he goes out into the field, he's guaranteed to die.
And Stain just reignited that light.
Yup. Stain's gonna accidentally get his hero killed.
Yep. Now I'm just picturing Stain just weeping over All Might's tombstone. Tons of notes and shit.
Bro, he
Why
may
did you
be the
leave me?
K-pop stan of All Might.
Oh,
Be drinking his bathwater and stuff. Listen, if All Might opened up on OnlyFans, Stain's the first guy to get on it.
Wait, hold up. Who did you say OnlyFans? What?
Hey, hold on. I mean, I said All Might's OnlyFans.
Oh hell.
Stain would join that immediately. He'd be like the first dude, and he'd be paying like $100 every month.
Then he would decide that all heroes that don't have an OnlyFans aren't real heroes.
yep.
Yeah.
You'd create 20 different profiles just to sub each time.
20 burner accounts. Oh my, can I get some pictures of your feet?
What boy? What the hell? But then we talk
I
about. Then we talk about. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I understand, like, like I said though, I understand y'all. That's really the only thing, to be upset about this chapter is that, maybe it fell a little flat. But once again, that's just one of those things in total, like, and like in its totality, it would be better on a binge rather than week to week. But as like it stands now, I understand that being a complaint and gripe that it didn't hit as hard as you thought it would. This one is more understandable because other shit is like, you know how y'all niggas be, with, like I said, temper your expectations a lot of time.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am so real. Huh? Wait, what? Oh wow.
Yeah, your head really is hurting because you off a bean. The Stain even had money. You know how many people he killed? I'm pretty sure he ran some pockets.
Oh, Stain absolutely robbed some people, but he also apparently had his own bases. So I mean, going back, clearing that out. Squid, though, what did you think of the chapter since you just got in here?
Stain probably got an EVP card as well. No, I'm playing.
I'm not.
So yeah, this chapter is pretty cool, I guess. All Might, was being All Might. He built like a pencil. He built like Urkel if he was skinnier. I'm gonna go in on him. No, I'm playing. Stain keeps surprising me with how utterly deranged he is. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I knew jail can make a guy crazy, but like that's pretty cool. Oh wait, I was talking about last chapter. Oh wait, the first 2 pages were pretty funny. They literally be trying to dunk him and stuff. That's hilarious. We learned we got 2 more months till the attack. Just cool.
Whoa, Squid. We're supposed to have 1 month until the attack, but they said Stain's information was different.
Yeah, but he gave them 2 months.
No. Here, I'll read it back over to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so ready?
Mm-hmm.
So they said, let's see, where is it at? So predict, but he needs at least 2 full months. The impossible words with testimony to get agreements on One for All before Shigaraki's body perfected. Whatever he's scheming, if we're looking at a date of 2 full months after the attack on Tartarus, that gives us 1 more month of wiggle room to make our move and take the fight to all for one. So 2 months from when they attacked Tartarus, so 2 months after the end of March, but Deku Far From Home took place over the course of the month of April. April showers bring May flowers, hence why it stopped raining at the end of last chapter. We're in May.
Yeah, we in May.
And so we're transitioning into May. So we were supposed to have 1 month, but based on this intel from Stain, it seems to imply that that's not the case.
Yeah, also, Deku, also another thing, Deku had to be washed. It smelled like, Drake's new album, but we ain't gonna get there real quick. So it's like, yeah, funny moments. Bakugo is showing even more emotional consideration by trying to choose to call him Izuku, even though he's failing a little bit, but he's trying, and that's what counts.
Oh yeah, yep. 107 degrees. Yeah, I mean, it's a little hot, but that's necessary. They hit him with the pressure sprayer, got that dirt off his shoulder.
Yeah,
and
they had to
everywhere
power
else.
wash him.
You're like, you're a lesbian. I'm like, me too. What? Wackest bar on the album, to be honest.
See, Squid came in here with an axe to grind against that Drake album.
Yeah.
Also, real quick on a side note, is everybody reading? Oh, wait. What Mello said, I really don't understand how people read 326 and thought All Might is going to survive. I genuinely feel like All Might is about to take advice from the worst nigga he should be taking advice from on his life. And I think that justifies him dying.
This is like getting financial advice from Tyrone Biggums. It's advice, but I don't think it's useful.
Like, he's setting himself up for an extremely bad time. And we just kind of have to deal with that. Like,
bro is setting himself up for a steel-tipped Tim stomping.
You know what? This is my thing about it. I have never seen in my life a series where 3 old men are really the cripple for the series. Like, these niggas are holding my people back from greatness, and people want these niggas to survive and just try to make way for them to survive in so many type of ways. I'm like, bro, no. This is about the rise of the next generation. Those 3 old niggas gotta go. All right. That flame beer nigga gotta get packed up. He need to go. He holding my boy Shoto back because niggas really forgot that Shoto is like part of the main cast, not Endeavor. And as long as Engie on screen, he the better written character. He holding Shoto back. You already know. Oh my god, get the fuck out of here. And we already talked about every reason, but he gotta go. You already know why Nutsack Face need to get the fuck out of here. That's not even a discussion.
Bro be the stink meaner of the series, man.
I can't.
A hater, ultimate hater.
Exactly. I've never seen a series where 3 old men are just literally holding back the series. And people be trying to keep them alive. I'm like, bro, no, let it go. Like Aizawa, yeah, I see. But like these other niggas, like, no, they good.
They know.
They have ran their course. They good. We good off them niggas.
Yep. The international heroes are supposed to be coming in, and that's kind of the other thing. We getting crowded with pros. So these foreign heroes, but also the idea of the barriers, because if foreign heroes can get in, then I feel like we're also opening the door for foreign villains again. Because I don't think there's a world in which people like, damn, Japan has a massive borderline government shutdown. We should not take advantage of that. So I think that if we're going to have people coming in to help, then we also got to factor in that there's a good chance that people are going to see this as an opportunity for profit to capitalize off the destabilization of Japan as a nation and really get something out of it. So we should see some conflicts and some betrayals coming up, because I can't imagine, being, for example, one of the heads of the triads, because if the Yakuza's around, then you already know like different forms of the triad would still exist in modern times and all these other international gangs, and not utilizing Japan because Japan was the ideal country. So it falling so heavily easily could lead to an opportunity to like, try to reinvest in it if you expect it to be like right back on the up and up. And in Japan, in real life, has such heavy ties to the Yakuza that there was like a prime minister that was like caught hanging out with like Yakuza bosses, and it was just kind of like, oh, I mean, it's the Yakuza, whatever, who cares? So I feel like there has to be.
The Yakuza are considered legitimate business there. Like they have like an office, got phone numbers. Like it's pretty cool.
They have like legitimate and non-legitimate businesses. And the companies will be heavily investigated if they're going to get a loan or not, just to make sure they're not tied to the Yakuza. Because I think they actually mentioned someone like Wells Fargo recently lost 300 million in a loan to the Yakuza because they didn't realize that the company they were loaning to was Yakuza. Because Yakuza never pay back loans, they just give you something else in exchange. So like in Japan, like people want to avoid it because they don't want to get that not paid back. But in the old days, you fronted them money and then they would be nice. And then they collected the debt of all the other people who owed you money while still never paying.
Yakuza really just be taking y'all lunch money just so y'all don't get beat up. That's crazy.
Yep. And so this is the perfect chance for somebody to be in like smuggling some trigger into Japan.
We talked about this on VC one day.
Because also, like, let's be real. And like Japanese citizens that are still want to fight back. You really think they're not going to sit there and be like, oh shit, trigger? You know what? Yes, give me some of that.
Hey man, listen, we talked about this on VC one time. I was like, bro, y'all realize like your trigger really probably gonna make a comeback too, because like all cards are off the table. Like, can you imagine the villains running loose, getting some trigger, and then injecting themselves with that shit and running even more loose and haywire than before? Oh my god! Like you seen what Mimic was doing? They said he was like supposed to be only be able to have no fridge prior to. Then that nigga took some trigger. He moving a whole fucking hideout as at free will. Like,
oh, listen. When that gets introduced, the city gonna look like New Jack City. I promise you.
oh god, like I don't know. People don't understand how stacked the villains really are. Honestly,
The one with Wesley Snipes in it, Chris Rock too. That's what I'm talking about.
this nigga funny. People don't understand how like stacked up and like fearful they should be as the villains.
You're gonna have a million Pookies running around.
Wait, you say a million Pookies?
Yeah,
Look,
from New Jack, played by Chris Rock.
the Yakuza aren't. Well, yeah, I guess when you think about it, not paying your loans is a little bummy, but they're not bums like that. But that's also why the Yakuza, if you remember, he was like, we don't do that because genuinely Yakuza aren't supposed to like interact or hurt civilians. They're supposed to intimidate them, but they don't actually hurt civilians like that. Also, due to the way gun laws work in Japan, they get very little practice, so they're notoriously bad shots, which makes what's his name actually being able to tag Muriel hilarious because it means they really were dedicated to like, because when they talk about how like he was going against it, that means that like he was investing heavily in getting them bullets and stuff so they could actually practice shooting. Because in Japan, it's a felony to own a gun, a felony to own a bullet, and a felony to fire a bullet.
You'd be catching like 3 felonies off of like 1 charge. It'd be crazy.
So, but when Yakuza kill other Yakuza, they can often just like go to the police station and they turn in the gun like the next day. Like they like kill a dude and they're like, all right, I'm gonna just go to the police station real quick. And then they turn themselves in and then they go to jail for like 2 or 3 years because killing a Yakuza doesn't really count as killing a person.
They be having hunting laws there too, but they don't tell you about them.
which once again ties into the whole dehumanization of criminals. In fact, they don't have like delinquent homes, which is the other reason why teenagers like Toga end up running away a lot, because they don't have like juvenile detention centers like that. They'll be like, oh man, the Yakuza decided to adopt you. That's perfect. You were already a scum criminal anyway, since you ran away from home. It's kind of like that. Yeah, like in real life, the Yakuza can't shoot that well because they don't get practice. It's just too much of an issue. Like it just draws too much attention to yourself. So I'm guessing they don't even have like shooting ranges like we do here, which makes sense because most countries aren't as interested in shooting a lot as we are here.
It's because we like our guns.
Yeah, brother Walkins, tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andrew-
yes, sir. I love walking into a Walmart with my RPG, my AR-15 with the extendo roll, everything.
All right. Andrew Lolivar says we wouldn't have this Mina problem if Ori took his genius advice and had mini arc for her or another kid where they quit being a hero because of the war.
He's he's saying because niggas don't like Mina. They say people said she's been getting on their nerves since she was talking about we still got school to go to and shit like that. Ever since they've been talking to Deku, they said she's been getting on their nerves.
They be getting on their nerves to the point where they be ignoring common sense. Like,
Man,
pretty obvious.
they're
This
getting on
is
my
li-
nerves.
Okay, so what's crazy about this is that the reason why she's talking so much lately is because she finally, I like that, ruffles money. Is like the war arc is when she finally started having a real arc with that insecurity, with that concern. And so us focusing on what Mina cares about and her having more interactions is a byproduct of that. And you've had the death of Midnight, so her being worried about Deku's safety and wanting to bring him back directly ties into the whole stumbling upon her corpse.
we play Playboy Cardi unironically. Hey, not a dream about murder.
You just reminded me that somebody said Playboy Cardi's 2 albums were clear of everything Michael Jackson did.
And I thought the MHA fan was delusional. Oh my.
Listen, the comparisons to MJ gotta go, okay? Like 30 million. How many of y'all favorites are doing 30 million in sales?
Wait, say that again?
Didn't Michael Jackson get like 30 million for Thriller?
Thriller has
10
sold
million?
over 1 billion.
Really? I know it's been streamed over 1 billion times, but 1 billion sales?
I'm pretty sure. Hold on. 'Cause I saw something about it recently, but I can't remember. I might be tripping.
Listen, okay. Until Drake can make over 30 million sales, you cannot compare him to MJ.
Oh yeah. So some people say it sold over 100 million.
As of now.
Yeah. Well, actually, as of an article in 2018, it's at a minimum of 66 million copies, with the potential to be at over 100 million, just because we're charting back into an era that it's a little harder to keep track of.
Well, we're also in an era where like album sales are kind of going down due to streaming. So a lot of that revenue is coming from streaming. And like the dollars you get based off of that is like based off, I believe, 1,000 streams. So like if you have like a song, I feel like I think it's kind of like YouTube where you can like adjust your rate depending on like if you're like directly connected with Spotify or whatever. But like I know like Tyler the Creator had like a song with like 20 million streams, and he only got like 200K sales for Call Me If You Get Lost. And that album was really popular. Like when it came out, like everybody was listening to it. Like, so like, again, like a #1 album doesn't mean as much because a lot of it is already kind of a streaming battle.
Mhm.
So you're never gonna get like you're never gonna get stuff like an album with like 500K sales. Like how much did Donda sell? Did Donda go platinum? Donda sales.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I know he got 341 million streams, but he only sold in terms of pure units. Like we're just talking album, like records, right?
Mhm.
He only sold like at most 330,000.
Well, even if you can buy stuff on iTunes, most people aren't buying it now because they can just stream it. And
yeah, they can just stream it, and then you could get the money based off of the ratio of people streaming it.
yeah, which I think that's what they're doing. Like the reason why you said like 3 million or whatever only led out to like 200K album or whatever. The way I look at that is the reason why the 20 million translates to 200K is because that's how much ad revenue it takes from streaming to equal out that amount in sales is more than likely how they're getting that number.
Yeah, like
because as we've discussed, or as most people who keep up with this, streaming as far as revenue goes has actually very much harmed artist income in a lot of ways for conventional arts.
100%. Like when you're talking about like the physical sale of goods,
Yep.
a lot of people are going to prefer convenience, and it's like, so for people who heavily rely on just like album sales, they've had to get more and more into having these more streamable songs. And what doesn't help, I believe, and I think what's worsening the streaming, I guess, problem is TikTok, to where like a lot of the more like famous music clips are off these like these little intervals of songs, and you're starting to see like songs that are starting to try to built to kind of exploit that algorithm. Have you kind of noticed that?
Mm-hmm. Not to mention bots and stuff, so there's that too.
Yeah,
But
like,
all right,
like half these sales be like illegitimate as well. So it's like it's pretty rough.
Did Turner say anything in the chat yet, or
Yeah.
in the Bishop Circle?
No, I texted him supposed to. He said he's gonna be here soon.
From Brooklyn, they always late.
That was over.
You could say I'm gonna be here at 10, but he actually means 1 o'clock or 11:30. You gotta adjust that by like 90 minutes.
Oh, he's running on that time, huh?
Yeah, that time.
Yeah. Let's see. Actually, no, because I think it's about to be football time. I'm not trying to have the stream interrupted by lots of yelling. So let's go around final thoughts real quick. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. We've been off topic for a little while. So Squid, final thoughts?
Well, yeah, it makes sense. It's pretty much a setup chapter. Yeah, it's solid. Frankly, I'm just waiting for something more substantive. That's really, I'll give it like a 7. It's solid.
Real quick, as far as Viz isn't necessarily backed up, it's more over that the clip at which Horikoshi was releasing volumes and the amount of chapters he was putting into them led to wider gaps in the volume releases. So they're kind of respecting the delays. Well, the delays in Japanese distribution also delay our distribution because of the way licensure laws work for physical print manga and all that other stuff. So that's just how it is. Walk-ins, final thoughts.
Chapter is fine. I mean, bit of downtime, nothing wrong with that, especially after everything that's been going on. Stain being the ultimate stan, love to see it. Again, I think my only issue with it was just the whole All Might Deku conversation thing, but that's
it stung a bit. It stung a bit.
Yeah, and I mean it is what it is, so just move forward, and All Might's body will be on the ground soon enough. So
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
You like you lesbian, I like girls, me too. That's still a crazy line. How you can
I'm
say that
telling
in
you.
2021?
Kevin Gates did it better. Anyway, Archbishop East.
All right, for those of you that were there and expected this, I tried to wait on Torrance to get the full story, but I'll just give it the base of what happened what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's gonna happen. Time for some packing up the MHA fandom. Where do I begin with you? Excuse my French, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you don't have headphones on. If you do, you might want to turn
All
them down.
right, sure.
Where do I begin with you? Fake ass, snake ass niggas. Oh my god, this fandom's so fucking full of shit. Oh my god, that's how I know you niggas must be constipated. Because you niggas are fake as fuck. I don't want to hear a goddamn single excuse out your fucking mouth. You know why? So, Anarchy, during the leak season, apparently it came out. I don't care if it was fake leaks or mistranslation. I don't give a fuck what it was. Turns out people were under the assumption that Jiro had said, let's have another cultural festival. Let's sing and dance for everybody to make them feel better. So when you seen everybody going fucking crazy on Twitter and all the fandom overreacting and this, that, and the other, that was because they were under the fucking impression that those niggas were throwing another cultural festival and they turned their backs so fucking hardcore, and those bitch ass niggas, we started talking shit to Discord, talking shit to Twitter, rambling on, packing hardcore shit to fuck up. All for them to be all fucking wrong because Jiro did not once say, let's throw another cultural festival and grab the fucking equipment and sing and dance. No, not once did she ever fucking say that. Niggas come to the defense. Well, based off leaks, because, you know, she grabbed this person and that person and then said something, we were led to believe. No, dumbass nigga, got the fuck leaks for. Did she ever say that? No, you getting fucking half-ass information off niggas y'all don't even fucking trust at the time. They have a relationship for clout. You gotta talk about that nigga Atsuhi. Like, bro, that shit's so fucking funny, bro. Like, y'all niggas fake as hell. Y'all literally are a fucking bunch of frauds. The minute you thought something was wrong based off of fucking leaks and not an actual chapter, you turn your back. And then you be like, oh, well, we just judge it week to week. This is no, nigga. Guess what? You may be judging week to week, but not once in the whole course you've been writing just week to week to keep it entertaining. No, dumbass
He acting
nigga.
like Horikoshi's Drake. He ain't never failed like that. Like, that's crazy.
Oh my god, you niggas are so fucking pitiful. You snake ass niggas. I don't want to hear no excuses. This fandom about the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, y'all niggas more of a stink than Orochimaru. That shit crazy to me. So they bring my Naruto up. Y'all want to keep bringing it up. Y'all niggas is fucking frauds, bro. You trade. I honestly, me myself personally, I would never trust y'all. Honestly, Horikoshi too nice for me because I told y'all to suck my dick from the back a long time ago, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I probably would have spoiled y'all like Gay was spoiling fucking JJK because y'all don't seem to fucking comprehend this shit. Oh, they finna have another quote. Man, Horikoshi fumble the fuck out. This shit garbage. This shit trash. You old slimy weasel bitch ass niggas. Look who wearing the clown suit now, nigga. Damn.
Another thing is, if you looked at the
fucking
Hanashima,
fools. Oh my
another thing, if you looked at the Hanashima translations, you would also know that she didn't imply that at all. So even if you were looking at the leaks, you had no excuses.
None whatsoever. But yeah, y'all was up there packing Horikoshi because you were under the assumption of that shit. Get the fuck out of my face because there are no excuses at this moment. All y'all motherfuckers at least 18 or older, you fucking adults at this damn point, or you should have some type of comprehension. If you keep fucking doing something wrong, how long is it gonna take for you to realize maybe I shouldn't do this? Maybe I shouldn't overreact. Because every fucking week y'all overreact. Oh, wait, the leaks didn't say this, the leaks didn't say that. They was missing this, they was missing that. We didn't have this, or the leak said this, but the actual chapter said this. And they always be like, whoa, initially with the leak. No, I'm not hearing that shit no more. Fuck out my face. Y'all niggas some hoes. Y'all niggas is fake. All y'all niggas is garbage. The MHA fandom for a bunch of snakes, and I can't trust y'all niggas as far as I can throw Gigantomachia, which means not at all. So suck it from the back.
I mean, you probably getting thrown back. That's crazy.
Oh my goodness, Sheena, you and your damn now you're standing. You like toxic niggas and
I'm saying
misogyny.
Oh, and by the way, double down real quick before I sign off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, MHA fan, y'all a bunch of bitch ass niggas for that volume cover bitching. I wanted Dark Deku or this, that, and the other. Dumbass Dark Deku didn't happen until after the fucking events of volume 30, 31. How the fuck you gonna get something that happened in a volume after? You see how that don't make sense? A volume cover should represent what happened in the volume, but after. But once again, MHA fans will call them what the fuck they want. Oh, ungrateful, unsatisfied, snake ass niggas. Y'all stink, but the church rules. So at the end of the day, Holocaust is still the goal. 10 out of 10. Let the All Might stuff play out. I understand that face value fell a little flat, but hey, we're gonna keep on moving with it.
Listen, all I
Pack
know
those 3 old men up, and that's all I got to say, man. Hell, Hori, the fucking GOAT, undefeated of the East, baby. What it do?
Listen, man, you can't like put me in with these charlatans, okay? I was watching Netflix. I was watching JUCO football, okay? I was not in that whole beef, okay? That's crazy. I was watching Last Chance U specifically. That show was pretty good.
I'm happy you enjoying yourself.
Yeah, you know, just live life.
All right, y'all. That's it.
Free Palestine.
We out. It's gonna be the end of this week's stream. Make sure you read Red Hood. Make sure you read A Narrow Way of the Martial Artist for the Barefoot Goat. Make sure y'all giving more mangas a chance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, enjoy yourselves. If you're NFL fans, hope your team wins, unless your team is going against a team that I like, in which case your team is trash, and I wish them nothing but the worst.
I wish you and your whole team nothing but everything bad happening to you.
Exactly. That's all I got to say this week. I enjoyed the chapter. I'm going to try to get a review out. Deku Far From Home should be coming out to you later this week. I'm Aniki. This is the Church of MHA.